Hi, welcome to Growth in Tech. My name's Chris and I'm all about B2B, growth marketing and sales.
And I'm Tom and I'm all about building apps in the Atlassian space.
Today we're going to talk about automation for Jira, their exciting growth and acquisition from Atlassian. So they've had a hell of a few years. In the last 3 years they've grown a lot. They now have 10,500 users, and I think in the last 8 months alone they've grown 50%. And the ultimate validation is of course being acquired by the mothership, boomeranging back to them. So Tom, you've known automation for Jira for a few years now. Tell us a bit about it.
So I've been using automation for Jira for a long time. It's the tool that I always champion to my clients as a consultant. It makes their life so much easier with building automation into their tools and makes their day job and processes so much simpler. The biggest problem I had with it is the onboarding. I wanted to make sure that as many people could find it and use this tool as possible. So when I went to Barcelona Summit, I spoke to the automation team, John McKinnon, and asked him how we could make this process easier for new people. And the idea we came up with was an automation playground, a demo environment where anyone, without logging in or setting up an account, can just start using the tool and play around with rules and even actually build a business case themselves to say, here is why we need this. And that's crucial with a difficult tool like this.
I think the thing people often fail to realize is that for the end user, they don't necessarily have budget or authority to buy the tool quickly. And if you want to shorten those sales cycles, you don't want to make them go through a bunch of different hoops. You make it easy for them. Attention is a valuable thing, and when you've got it, we can't afford to waste time going through the traditional method of having someone fill in a form and then wait a couple of days for a demo to get set up manually.
Yeah.
The other thing I understand automation for Jira do very well is they capture analytics from that playground. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, so that's a really clever feature of the playground for the development team as well. They're using a tool called Hotjar, which tracks every mouse movement and every click that's being used on the playground. And the users that are actually coming to the demo environment, it'll be the first time they've ever seen the tool. So it's a great way to check that their onboarding is actually working. If you want to see how 100, 1,000 people behave on that first click, then using Hotjar or tools like it is the best way to go.
Now, if you want this playground to work for people, they need to be able to find it. And this is something that Automation for Jira have done very, very well. They're on the front page of Google primarily because the tool does what it says, or is named what it does.
Definitely, yeah.
So I'm not going to name any names, but we all know there's some tools out there with some very funky names that don't necessarily describe anything. Whereas in this case, you've got 2,000 people a month searching for it. They might just be looking for the feature. They might not even know there's an app that exists. It doesn't matter. They'll find them. The other thing Automation for Jira have done very well is community marketing. So they're not spamming, but they're also not shy to be out there on the Atlassian forums. When they're the answer to a question, they'll be there. And also, they've added a few leading questions which put themselves out in front of the community. So
That works really well.
Speaking of the community, what's the future here? After the acquisition, is Automation for Jira going to become free? How does it work?
Well, from my perspective, it makes sense that Automation for Jira is a great tool that should be come out the box with Jira. It's 2019 and people expect those kind of automation tools. And we've seen this before.
Similar to how you have with Trello and Butler and all the automation features that are now available as standard with the tool.
Yeah.
So it's a very exciting time. I'd really like to hear what you think will be the next acquisition by Atlassian. Please let us know in the comments below. We're going to continue doing a few of these videos on all the apps we find interesting. If you think of anything, do let us know. We are prepared to work for free t-shirts.
Definitely, yeah. So how do you want to end this?